Hello, I'm Chris Johnston from Work Visa Lawyers, based in Adelaide, South Australia. The new Skilled Work Regional Subclass 491 Provisional Visa has just opened for applications, superseding the Subclass 489 visa. So what are some of the key features of the 491 visa? It is a 5-year visa with access to permanent residency Subclass 191 visa after 3 years by meeting certain conditions. It is available to areas of regional Australia only, but despite the name, this visa lets you live, work and study in large capital cities like Perth, Adelaide and Hobart. It also includes vibrant areas like the Gold Coast in Queensland and the Central Coast in New South Wales. You just can't live and work in cities like Sydney, Melbourne or Brisbane. And for the first time for a provisional visa, you can access government services like Medicare that were previously reserved for permanent residents and citizens. You should visit the Medicare website to learn more. The Subclass 491 visa, like other general skilled migration visas, is points tested with a minimum pass mark of 65. But there are some minimum requirements you need to meet. Some of the key ones are: you must be either nominated by an Australian state or territory government agency or indicate that you will be sponsored by an eligible relative. State or territory government nomination is the more popular pathway, and I will talk about this in more detail later. If seeking sponsorship from a relative, they must reside in a regional area and be a relative of either you or your partner. They must be an Australian citizen, an eligible permanent resident or an eligible New Zealand citizen. You must be aged under 45 at the time of visa application. You must have a suitable skills assessment for an eligible occupation. You must have evidence of competent English, which is equivalent to an IELTS score of 6 for each of the 4 components. Like any other visa, you'll also need to meet health and character requirements. Now, in terms of the points test and the pass mark of 65 points, you can score points for a range of factors. I won't go into all the details, but the major components include: if you're aged 25 to less than 33, you can get 30 points. Superior level English can earn you 20 points. Having an Australian qualification or work experience can get you significant points. State sponsorship or family sponsorship will get you 15 points. You can quickly see that achieving 65 points becomes quite attainable. But you may also need to consider the requirements for state and territory nominations if you're using that pathway. You see, state and territories are allowed to impose their own requirements for state nomination above and beyond the visa requirements. A common difference is state and territories requiring higher points for certain occupations, beyond the 65 point requirement. Many state and territories also have special pathways or concessions if you previously studied or currently work there. If you're in Australia, then it can often be the best option to seek nomination from the state or territory you are living in. Now, once you have hold of the 491 visa, the next big question is, what do I need to do to achieve permanent residency? The requirements sound straightforward, but they do present a challenge. Essentially, you need to live and work in a regional area of Australia for at least 3 years before you're eligible to apply for the Permanent Residence Skilled Regional Visa Subclass 191. To meet the work requirement, you must have earned a taxable income of $53,900 per annum for at least 3 years. This may be a challenge for new migrants to achieve straight away and then to maintain for 3 years. The visa is valid for 5 years. So you do have plenty of time to achieve this, but it's still something to keep in mind. You can work in any occupation, not necessarily just the one that you are nominated for. It is important to remember that while you hold a 491 visa, you and your family must only live and work in regional Australia. Only once you've been granted permanent residency are you permitted to live in locations like Sydney, Melbourne or Brisbane. So that's a summary of the new Skilled Work Regional Provisional Subclass 491 visa. While not as attractive as skilled visas which offer permanent residency straight up front, it can still be a great option with access to many capital cities in Australia. If you'd like to know more about this visa and whether it could be the right one for you, please get in contact with us today. We're ready to assist. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. We'll always provide you with a reply as soon as possible. Thank you for watching this video. Please hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest Australian immigration news.